What's up, YouTube? Have you ever wondered if Pixaki is good for doing pixel art on the iPad? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. Welcome back to another Candid Design Challenge. My name is Ben Nielsen and I'm a media design educator. Today we're going to be talking about the app Pixaki on the iPad. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it is Pixaki. And I was clued into this app. I saw some people using it for pixel art on Instagram, so I thought I would go ahead and try it myself. Now, obviously, we can kind of answer the question right now. If there are people using it for pixel art and posting that to Instagram, then they are able to create pixel art doing it. They are able to design something using it. So it looks like the answer to this is going to be yes, but we're going to look at how good it is. You can see here on the screen, I have Pixelable next to it. Pixelable has been my go-to app for pixel art for a while now, and I've really enjoyed using it on both iPhone and iPad. I actually have an entire course on Skillshare that's an introduction to pixel art in which I use Pixelable, but it doesn't matter what pixel app you use for that course. You can use any app that will make pixel art. So let's go ahead, dive in, and see if Pixaki can do it. Now, I don't have a specific challenge for this one, so I had to make one up myself. Remember, you can leave challenge ideas in the comments of any of these Candid Design Challenge videos for either an application or something you'd like to see me design. So go ahead and do that whenever you think of one. Let's go ahead and jump in and see what we can do in Pixaki. Okay, now the first thing we should note is this is Pixaki Intro. All right, so there are two versions of Pixaki. The Pixaki Intro is kind of like the light version. When I was looking at it, it did look like it was probably limited by layers or something. It'll probably tell us this when we open up, but just know there are two versions of Pixaki and we're just using the free intro one because we're just testing it out today. Here we can make different things. So you can see up here in the left-hand corner, it looks like we can choose if we're saving to Drive or iPad. I always like to choose on my iPad because I don't pay for iCloud storage, just a personal preference there, but I use other types of cloud storage. So I normally save to on my iPad. And looks like we have some settings here. So there's, oh nice, there's show tools on the right or show tools on the left. So that's going to be if you're left-handed or right-handed. That's nice, you can adjust that. Showing the status bar, palette color size, touch options, use selected tool when touching, or you can choose to erase or pan, do nothing. Okay, so that's if you're using a pencil, which I'm using the Apple Pencil. And in case you're wondering what I'm using, this is that iPad 2018 that I bought a few weeks ago. So I'm using that for this. And there's a color picker delay, enable canvas rotation, some advanced settings, got a user guide to figure things out. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. And we're just going to click the plus button to add something new. When I'm doing pixel art, I almost always work in a 16 by 16 grid just because I'm really inspired by like the graphics of the NES. I like to work in kind of that more limited form, but obviously there's a lot of things that you could do here. So it looks like there's both small sprite, medium sprite, large sprite, Game Boy, and then there's some pro things here which they're showing us. GBA, canvas, or widescreen. Okay, so we're just going to go with small sprite and click create. Looks like we have our background options here. I'm going to go ahead and set the background to transparent. And right off the bat, we can see this is a very similar layout to something we might expect from any modern creative program. We've got tools along the left-hand side, panels along the right-hand side. Looks like we've got a layers panel. We can add a layer if we need to, turn layers on and off, assuming we can delete layers. Yeah, it looks like we can name our layers, cut and copy them, convert to a static image. Oh yeah, so I think this does have some animation features, which you can do some very simple animation in Pixelable, but it's pretty limited. So let's go ahead and delete that layer. Since I don't have a design challenge, I'm just going to be making a pixel American flag in a square. Now that's a little bit weird, but let's see if we can do it here. July 4th is this weekend, so to celebrate Independence Day, let's make a little pixel flag. And it probably won't turn out to be anything amazing because it is going to be square. I do like to work in the square format, but you know, that's how things were when you were limited to these pixels. You just had to kind of deal with it. So I'm just going to use this palette on the bottom here. It does look like I can add another palette, maybe, or colors to a palette. Save palette, load palette. Okay, so there's some different things we can do there. Looks like that adds your current fill. So let's go ahead and grab our red and see. We can two-finger tap to undo. I think I'm going to choose this darker red. So I'm going to first, maybe I'll outline my blue square here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do 7. By 7 for our blue. And it looks like currently if I go up here, I'm using a round brush, although I'm only at 1 pixel, so it doesn't matter. It's still going to be square. So round at 1 pixel, and I can change that brush size. And I have options for round, square brush, or a matrix dither. So that's nice that they have that matrix dither option if you're doing something where you want to be able to do shading. Okay, let's continue here. Let's do red and white stripes. And let's see, we have a 16 by 16. So we want 13 stripes, which means some of them are going to have to be double. So I think we'll start with double at the top and bottom and see how that works out. So let's go ahead and raise this up to 2 pixel size and see how that works for us. So it looks like it then does it in a 2 by 2. So it's going up in a square. So we'll go down to 1. And let's just check our other tools here and see what we have. It looks like we have a eraser, a paint bucket tool, some shape tools, selection tool, freehand selection tool, color picker, eyedropper. Okay, so mostly we'll probably be using this standard 1 pixel brush. Okay, so that's going to be 13 with 1 double white. So let's fill these in. Of course, we're not doing anything difficult here, right? This is just simple pixel painting, but that's really what you want in a pixel application. You just want something that can easily paint pixels, and that's what we're getting here. Now for the stars, I'm going to do this kind of a thing here. Okay, so that's kind of what we've got so far. I'm not super happy with this, so the next thing that we want to do is see how easy it is to iterate. So let's try and duplicate this layer, and then we'll iterate on this top one. The first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to try not having all of the stripes that there would be. We're going to not try and go for 13, we're just going to go for doubles of everything and see if that works out better. Okay, and we'll just try out our paint bucket tool here. That works great. I like that one, but I don't love it. So I think we're going to try another one. Just try duplicating this again. This is all part of the design process. It's just iterating. Okay, so we've tested out the basic tools here. I'm not going to say that I totally love this design that I've come up with here, and I could spend more time messing with it, of course, but probably not necessary. We kind of know how this works. The next thing to test out is going to be the animation. So let's go ahead and we'll make a new project, and we're going to test out the animation here. And actually, when that gets small, it doesn't look too bad. You would know what it is. Probably need to adjust the size of maybe the star field a little bit, but let's keep going here. We'll add a new one. Do another 16 by 16 small sprite. And let's try turning on this one. I think this is the animation here, so we can animate by frames. And let's just do a simple animation here. Let's try drawing with one of our shape tools. Let's draw an ellipse. Just make a little person. Let's try using the move tool. And then the pen tool again. All right, now let's see if we can add a new frame. We can. Actually, what we want is to duplicate that frame, I think. So what's interesting here is they're using frames separate from layers. And I don't know, we're probably going to run into a stop here on the free version for what it can do as far as multiple frames and layers go, but that's basically what they're doing. So let's try the eraser tool here, and we're just going to get this guy to do jumping jacks. Duplicate that, move the frames. Yeah, this is very easy to do here. Let's see. We can change duration, so that's good. So I'll just do this on 2s here. And there we have our little guy jumping up and down. Okay, so pretty good animation tool there. I'm not sure what these other tools do, so let's go ahead and check them out really quick. Okay, so that's onion skinning. And that's an option to select multiple keyframes, okay. Oh, and there's a duplicate button right there. That's useful. And add new frame. Okay, so we've got all of those. See what these adjustments are. We've got a replace color option. 16 by 16. We can change the canvas size. We can turn on the grid and off the grid. Oh, we have a symmetry option. We can change our animation speed and turn onion skinning on and off here as well. Okay. We can import reference photos. Oh, the zoom option to see 100%. Great. So, all in all, I'm going to say that Pixaki looks like a great... Hey guys, sorry to interject here without my face, but this is future editor Ben here, and I just realized that I forgot to look at how we could export from here, which is kind of really important in determining whether or not this is a good tool. So let's go ahead and let's see what our export options are. When we come here to the export arrow, we see that there's a Pixaki file. So they must have something that is native that can transfer between Pixaki on different devices. You could probably save that to external or something. Then we can do an image like we'd expect. Let's see what formats we get here. So it looks like we have PNG, TIFF, or JPEG 2000. We can adjust the magnification, which is really nice to be able to do that. Really don't want it to be a literal 16 by 16 pixels if you're going to share it to social media. Like you can see down here, they give a little warning. So we can increase our magnification here. Okay, that's great. That's really good. And we've got current frame or all frames. Excellent. Let's just check on what our video options are. Looks like we can't do a movie, but we can do an animated image. So we should be able to do a GIF or an animated PNG. Perfect. Same options for increasing magnification. And then there are some pro options for a movie. Let's see what it says here. Okay, so this tells us what we get with pro. Unlimited layers references, unlimited animation frames, up to a 2 megapixel canvas size, and advanced import and export including Photoshop, which would be nice, you know, to be able to go with Photoshop, especially since even if you're not using Photoshop, other things do take PSD. So we can see that that's the last option here. Photoshop is for pro, but also we can do a sprite sheet, which is really cool. So we can do a sprite sheet if we're working on a really large canvas and doing multiple sprites. That's very excellent. So you can see this app does seem to kind of take it to another level in terms of not being simply just a really easy to use pixel editor, but it has some other features, especially if you start paying for it, which if you're doing pixel art, you know, professionally, then you probably do want to be paying for the application. But even this free version seems to have a lot available to it. So it seems like a really good option as well, probably a little bit more robust than something like Pixelable. Okay, so I'll get back to Past Ben now. Looks like a great pixel art app. It seems to have all of the features that you might need for just pixel drawing or for animation. A lot of pixel art comes down to you as the designer creating something that really works with your idea, right? That you really get down to the nuts and bolts of deciding what that idea is supposed to be and then conveying that through this very limited art style with limited number of squares and a limited number of colors. So it really comes down to you. The tool can be pretty simple, and this isn't that complex, but they do have these animation features built in, so they are kind of taking it one step forward. And there are more robust pixel editing apps out there for sure, but not necessarily on the iPad. And so this one looks like a really good option for the iPad. Again, remember, if you want to learn more about actually doing that pixel art, go ahead and check out my course, which I'll link in the description below, which is an introduction to pixel art. And remember, as always, if you have any other ideas for the Canon design challenges, go ahead and drop those down in the comments below as well. I'm always looking for new ideas and new things that I can show you on this channel. We'll chat in the comments, and I will see you on the next video.